Today on Behind the Edge, we'll be looking at the Arcform Slimfoot Auto collab with Protech Knives. Straight from the quarantined office, what's going on? It's your boy Brent, aka BakPAk B, back with another episode of Behind the Edge. Super pumped you're here. If you're into knives and you like this video, consider stabbing that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and I would really love to have you here every week. Anyway, today we're talking about the Arcform Slimfoot Auto collab with Protech. I'm super pumped to talk about this. It's a really interesting piece with a great design aesthetic, so this is Behind the Edge. Let's get after it. Just look at that bad boy. Manufactured by Protech in the good old USA, the Slimfoot was designed by Jeff Blauvelt. He's a custom knife designer and owner of TUFFKNIVES. He also has an old YouTube channel called TUFFThumbs where he documented knife builds and mods. Go check out his YouTube even though he doesn't post there anymore. It's full of valuable information for knife hobbyists. This knife is gorgeous. The design of the Slimfoot Auto exudes confidence. Clean lines and edges add to its minimalistic feel. On the show side, you can see aluminum handles that are extremely stripped down. There are no milling patterns or texturing, which adds to this understated, subtle tone of the whole knife. The billboarding on the blade shows off Arcform's simple and modern logo. The only hardware you see on this side of the knife is the pivot and push button, and all the hardware on this piece has a subtle matte gray textured treatment that I dig. Moving along to the spine of the handle, and it's about as simple as you can get back here. The aluminum handles come together seamlessly, leaving a small opening in the middle. Moving on to the back side, you can see the deep carry pocket clip that is recessed into the handles, so it easily glides into your pocket. Here we can see the screws that hold the handles together and the matching pivot hardware. There's more billboarding on this side, this time with the TUFFKNIVES maker's mark. I'm also a fan of this mark. It's simple, the mark is bold, and it stands out. And now we made it to my favorite part. And Protech is known for their auto action, packing some heat, and this knife just flies open. Wow, that felt amazing. The deployment is strong, and it locks up solidly. Take a look at this knife in all its glory. I got the version with the acid wash blade, which I think adds a bit of attitude to the overall knife. And there's no blade play at all. The tolerances on this knife feel extremely tight. It just overall feels dialed in. Let's try out that action again. Wow. That, sir, is extremely addicting. The action on this knife makes it so fidget friendly in my opinion. Okay, one more time for thwack's sake. I'm not really a big auto guy, but this knife is still doing it for me. The Slimfoot Auto weighs in at just 3.38 ounces. It has a handle length of 4 inches, a handle width of 1.125 inches, and a handle thickness of 1/2 inch. It has a blade length of 3.125 inches, a blade width of 1 inch, and a blade thickness of 1.125 inches, giving the Slimfoot Auto an overall length of 7.25 inches. It features 154 cm steel, a plunge lock, a deep carry pocket clip, aluminum handle scales, push button auto deployment, and a flat ground sheep's foot blade. Alright, time for some size comparisons. Starting with the similar size knife, the SOG Terminus XR and CTS BDZ1 steel. The handles of these two knives are very similar in length and width, but the Slimfoot Auto has a longer blade. And here it is next to the small Honey Badger. These knives both have flat grinds that are implemented in totally different ways. Next up, the Civivi Chronic, which is a much slimmer knife in terms of width, but they both are similar in overall length. And now a super funky knife that I just picked up, the Tucson TS163 designed by Vincent Oliver. There are legit no similarities here. It's such a wild card, I had to show it. I have a thing for weird designs lately. And here it is next to the Benchmade Mini Grip Tillion. These are both rocking 154 cm steel, which is a steel I've always liked. I think it sharpens well and holds a decent edge. Okay, a couple more. Here it is next to a new knife I just picked up from Ferrum Forge, the Mini Archbishop. I love this knife so far, and I've been thinking about doing a full episode of Behind the Edge on it. Let me know if you want to see one. Alright, here it is next to the Bestech Scimitar. I just like both of these designs and wanted to pair them up. And finally, onto the control knife. Here it is next to the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. You can see that the Slimfoot Auto is smaller than the PM2. I was actually really surprised at how compact the Protech version of the Slimfoot is. It's a great EDC size. Okay, we made it to the pros, cons, and conclusions. I'm gonna keep it short and concise. Starting with the pros. I think there are a lot of pros with this knife. The design is a major pro. I love when custom knife makers do collabs with companies that can bring a knife to market for an affordable price. TUFFKNIVES normally sell for north of $1,000, so it's awesome to be able to get a piece designed by him without spending an arm and a leg. The design of this knife is so striking. It's stripped down and simplified to its purest form. It's a minimalist knife. I like that there are no extra bells and whistles on this piece. The next pro is packaging. The unboxing experience of this knife was absolutely amazing. The care that Arcform put into the box and the note on the inside and the sticker, everything, felt pretty similar to an Apple unboxing. The next pro is that this was made in the United States. I always love seeing knives that are made in my home country. The original Slimfoot by Arcform was made in collaboration with Knives, so I like seeing a version made here. The size of this knife is a definite pro. It disappears in the pocket until you need it. It's under 4 ounces, so I think people will love this for EDCing. I think that Protech did a great job with fit and finish. I love the matching hardware, I love the acid wash on the blade, everything feels really clean and dialed in. I think the aluminum was done quite well. It's nice and light and feels good in hand. I love that the pocket clip is recessed into the handle. The action of this knife is stellar. Protech just knows how to make an auto. Okay, time to move on to the cons, and there are 2 that really stood out to me. The first con is that the ergos are not great on this knife. In fact, they're pretty bad. It's almost as if the focus on form really took the front seat, while there was little to no focus on function. When you grip the Slimfoot, there are a ton of hot spots in hand. There are some sharp edges at the bottom of the handle. Any prolonged use of this knife would be uncomfortable, to say the least. I have to be honest, it's not a comfortable knife overall. The next major con is price. I think that asking $165 for this knife is way too much. I understand that a lot went into making this knife. The designer is a big name. Arcform and Protech are both involved. It seems like a case of too many cooks being in the kitchen, and the price point shows that. If they sold this knife for $100 even, I think it would be a home run. But for a smaller knife that has aluminum handles and 154 cm steel, $165 is just too much. And this brings me to my conclusion. I originally got this knife because I really like the design. From an aesthetic standpoint, this knife is awesome. I think it's a knife that could be good for light carry and use. I use it for small tasks that don't require much effort. But if you're looking for a knife that you can do tons of processing with and use as your workhorse, the Slimfoot is not a good option. The ergos are just bad, and the function of this knife was poorly thought through in my opinion. Which is extremely weird because its stripped down utilitarian look makes it seem as if it was designed to be functional, but it's not. We made it through another one, and if you're here, knife addict, you have a problem. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you next week. This is BakPAk B, and I'm out. Deuces.
Oh, yeah.